Every day we're learning more and more about the novel coronavirus, including how COVID-19 is spread. To talk more about this, we are joined by CTV's science and technology specialist, Dan Riskin. Dan, we've seen the video from Trinity Bellwoods. What's your take on the lack of physical distancing in the park, and how does the virus jump from person to person?
Yeah, I mean, the Trinity Bellwoods thing it's disheartening for sure. And I think for frontline workers especially, it could be frustrating to see people sort of being so blasé. I think we've been fortunate enough in Canada that a lot of us haven't seen firsthand what this disease can do. But when you see a big gathering of people, that's just a recipe for disaster. I think, though, that the gathering that we saw was really a reflection of the lack of green space in certain parts of the city. And I think if we can think forward, past this pandemic and think to the future, I think more green space is warranted. And this is another use of green space that maybe we hadn't considered in the initial planning. But in terms of how it spreads, is it really dangerous for people to be sitting close outside? The short answer is yes. This disease seems to mostly spread when people spend extended periods of time together. And if you look at case studies around the world of where the outbreaks occur, it's where people are stuck together for long periods of time, especially if they're talking. For example, there's an office in China where a call center existed on one floor of a building, and there was an outbreak in that call center, and it spread throughout the call center. But interestingly, it didn't go to other floors of the building, which suggests that we don't have to worry about things like it going through the ventilation system or even the short elevator rides to get to your office. It's really when you sit down and work next to people or sit down next to people outside that the virus has a chance to spread.
Okay, we're hearing more and more about immunity passports. What are they, and can they be effective?
Yeah, there was this initial idea that, some people are going to get this virus, then they're going to get better, and presumably their immune systems are going to be able to handle COVID-19 so they won't get sick again. And so could those people be doing things like driving taxis, like packing groceries, other jobs where people are unnecessarily at risk? But scientists are really pointing out that this idea of giving people a special passport once they've had the disease has all kinds of dangerous connotations. And one of them is we don't really know how different people respond to having had the disease. We think that once a person has had it, they're probably not going to get it again, at least in the short term. But we don't know how long that immunity lasts, and that's an important question. One of the reasons we don't know is because the disease has only been around for a few months. We don't know if a person is still immune a year later. And if you look at other coronaviruses, like some of the ones that cause a common cold, you can get those multiple times. You're not immune for life once you have it. So these are important questions that need to be answered.
Okay, and finally, Bob and Doug are making news in the world of science. How is that happening?
I wish it were Bob and Doug McKenzie making news for drinking beer and solving the COVID-19 crisis. Unfortunately, it's not that Bob and Doug. The U.S. has got two astronauts, one named Bob and one named Doug, that are going to launch on Wednesday in the afternoon to the International Space Station. And this is extraordinary. What makes it special is that they're launching from U.S. soil. They're going up in a SpaceX rocket, not a Soyuz capsule. And an American hasn't launched from America to space since 2011 with the end of the space shuttle program. So a lot of people are going to be watching to make sure that launch goes smoothly. And it's just kind of cool as a Canadian. We don't have a Canadian on board, but I think we're all there in spirit since there's a Bob and Doug aboard.
Absolutely. Take off, Dan. That's it for today. Dan Riskin, CTV science and tech specialist, reporting for us today.
Thanks, you hoser. Talk to you later.